This is Pod With Me.
Ready.
Get ready, because on this episode...
I'm trying to save the dinner in there. I'm trying to have a good time. And then we come out, I'm being polite. And then you have to do some stupid shit like that. I'm like, I buy.
You, for example, are looking at the red flags.
Maybe I have my own level of toxicity, but I like to keep it low, below nuclear. What color is that flag? Is it like a light pink, like a pregnancy test? Or is that shit on fucking fire?
Sure was on the show before, and we had an episode called...
Are you awake down there?
Are you awake down there?
Are you awake down there? I don't know. Speaking to the mic. You tell me. Testing.
Let's get a sound check.
Are you ready to pod?
Let's go. Roll sound.
So Iris and Dr. Liz, that's been on the show before. Dr. Liz I forgot to tell you, Iris, Dr. Liz was on the show before, and we had an episode called...
Are you awake down there?
Are you awake down there?
Oh my goodness.
This is what the guy that she was dating told her.
Let me guess why. He wasn't really doing it, but then he turned around and blamed it on you somehow.
Yes.
Instead of him actually having to put some kind of effort or whatever, he kind of turned around and blamed it on you. Like there's something wrong with your vagina.
And I said, no, I'm sorry. It's just that you don't excite me. That's what I said.
Well, obviously
Are you awake down there? I don't know. Speaking to the mic. You tell me. Testing. Hello, mic check.
Oh my god. All right, so Iris, since we've heard two stories from Liz already, but we're gonna recap them a little bit as well. But Iris, what has it been like? Tell me, when did you start dating again?
I started dating again, I want to say last year. After I had broken up, me and my boyfriend broke up of 6 years, and then we were like touch and go there for like 6 months. Like wasn't sure where it was going. And then when I realized that there was like no return, I started to date, and I went out with someone else that I thought I was like, oh my God, wow. You know, I guess the whole rebound relationship. And then we were together for a year, and then I broke up with him. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to talk to him. I didn't want to deal with anybody. And I was like, almost like relieved because no, I didn't have to attend to anybody. You know, I'm older, I have kids, I have this, I have that. I was like, maybe I had jumped into a relationship too quickly. I'm not going to say that I didn't do some stuff out of spite. Like, oh, you think I can't go out with anybody? Watch me start dating. Watch me get a boyfriend. And I did. And then, so I was relieved to have broken up at that time because I took a break from my 6th year and I took a break from that 1 year. So I was alone for a little bit. And then I started dating we had broken up last September or August, and I started dating then in February. And now it's been a whole year.
So now that you've been a year dating.
Of alone.
Yeah.
Huh?
Now that you've been a year dating.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Now that you've been a year dating, do you find that it's harder now to date than previous years before in your past?
Well, when you're in your 20s, it's like shooting fish in a barrel because everybody's on the same track and on the same situation, you know, and everybody's getting to know each other better, like learning them about themselves and learning about other people. So they're just like getting together, and you're younger, there's less responsibilities and this and that. And then as you get older, like the criteria starts to mount, you know, like now it has to be a certain age, a certain career, or maybe not a career, but a direction. If you have kids, then they have to be good for your kids, besides them obviously being good for you. Do they have ambition? So as you get older, the pool narrows because some people are already tied, you know, a lot of people are already tied up from earlier. I mean, around that time, people are going for their second rounds or whatever. But I find that I was dating, when my husband died, I was 33, and I was terrified of dating then because my grandmother was scaring me to death. Tú sabes que tú tienes hijos y la calle está muy mala. But that's what everybody says all the time, que la calle está muy mala. I heard it at 33. I heard it at when was it that me and my boyfriend broke up? 42. And now I'm going to be 45. And I hear it at 45. So the calle está muy mala doesn't change.
Which means the street's very bad. right?
Yeah, that's, you know, as those
Well,
Cubans
that's
say.
a story, you know. I feel like those.
Huh?
I feel like when people say that, that's just like a story. That's their belief. It doesn't have to be yours. You know.
I think, yeah. And I
Right.
think if you say it, Iris, don't you feel like you attract that into your
Yeah.
life? That that's what will happen? Like, I tamala, you attract, the outcome would be that?
Well, yeah, I didn't accept it because I felt like everybody's reality is different. But when you're single, what I'm trying to say is that I've been hearing that forever. Like that hasn't changed. It didn't change when I was 33. It didn't change when I was 42, and it hasn't changed now that I'm 45. Like that's
why do you think they say that? Do they say that like try and work it out as hard as you can? Because that's what the older generations used to do. They had problems, but they worked it out so hard that it was a big thing to separate, and maybe that's where it comes from, you think?
I think that plays a factor because I was definitely a role with my children's father when we had problems. That was definitely a role. Oh, nadie te va a querer los hijos como te lo quiere él, which my boyfriend after that I was with for 6 years, he did, because even though we split up 3 years ago, he's still obviously not as close with my son, but he still maintains a relationship. He goes to his baseball games. They go out, not like before, but so I didn't accept it as my reality, and it did work out somewhat for me. But I find that as you get older, it gets a little more difficult because the criteria is different. You know, it's more, everything is like more narrow. Perfect example. When I went on a date, I said, oh, 8:00, because I have to situate my kids, like take my son to wherever, you know, so to make sure that they're okay so that I go out and have a good time, which that's another thing. When I leave the door, I'm prepared to have a good time. Even if it's not a good fit, I'm always trying to have a good time because there was a lot of effort that went into that, and why not, you know? So I go out with a good attitude. So we go out. It was during COVID times. He hadn't made reservations, not a big deal. But where we were gonna go, it was full. So I went to the restaurant next door and I got the last table. So I'm like, all right. So he goes like that. He waves me in, like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, where? And he was like, next door. And I was like, they didn't have any seating. And he goes, yeah, there's 2 seats at the bar. And I was like, oh. I had already gotten upset because he changed it. I had said 8:00. And then he tells me later on, oh, can you change it to 7:30? I told him this is going to have to be 8:00. You can tell in his voice, it bothered him. And then he says, can I go pick you up? And I said, oh, no, I'd rather meet you there. And that bothered him too.
You hadn't met him yet, right? In person?
No, I hadn't met him.
Oh,
yet.
okay. Got it.
I don't know you from a hole in the wall. I mean, at least I have a good idea that you're police and fire, so you've had a background check and you probably have a physical. You know, you might be functioning where you function at work and then outside you're a hot mess. I don't know. I don't know enough for you to know my home address with my 2 children, and I'm a single woman. So I told it. So those 2 things already were wrong, like the time and the picking up, because this comes back on the date. So we do the thing. We get there. He wants to sit at the bar. I say no. He's already like making faces of like the place. So the guy comes to ask us for our drink. Would you like sparkling, you know, whatever, bottle flat? And I'm like, oh, bottle flat. And he's like, oh, you don't drink tap water? I really don't like tap water.
That's just like flat out telling you I don't have money for you to be getting
no Voss water for you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, or Evian or whatever. I don't know how it is in Miami, but you get your water report after the year's over. So if they have fucked up anything in the water, you already drank it. You already cooked your spaghettis with it. You already chugged it. You already that's gone already. Okay?
You gargled with it.
Gargled with it. You put it all over your face. So to me, the water, you know, is meant to like douse the inside. We already have a lot of like processed foods and this and that, whatever, you know, as I'm trying to get away from the chemicals. And you don't really know. Like I had gotten a water report here that was full of tetra, no sé qué cosa.
You explained all this to him?
No, I'm just explaining to you why. But I told him about the water report. And I said, oh, you know, I just really don't like the water. I don't like the water. It makes my hair hard. I can't imagine drinking it. That's what I said. It's a sentence. What
was his reaction to that?
So then we're trying to get out.
He just looked at you with us.
No, but no, it gets even better. It gets even better. Now, I'm not making any compromises, Liz. I don't know how you do it in your dates. If you do or if you don't, I keep the same thing how I always am. So if I go and buy myself whatever I buy myself, the same goes. If I don't buy myself something, I'm not expecting a man to give it to me. But if I want to eat whatever I want to eat and will drink whatever I want to drink, that's what I'm going to do. So then the appetizers comes and he was like, well, I don't know, whatever. How do you feel about pork? Like, oh, I don't eat pork. But you can go ahead and order it. It's like, so you don't drink tap water and you don't eat pork. I only eat pork if my stepfather makes it. I'm sorry. So that's fine. That's me. I'm not telling you to drink bottled water. I'm not telling you to not eat pork. So what's the problem?
He wants probably a girl with the same likes.
One of the things he had said was, oh, because I really like don't go out much. This is a guy with a high position, so he wasn't a broke ass. He made it sound like he did a lot of like Flanagan's and like Hooters and things like that. You don't go out or whatever? And he's like, nah, I don't really like to go out. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a Queen Elizabeth or anything like that, but I'm not a Netflix. We're not gonna do Netflix and chill.
Oh my God.
We're not gonna eat wings our whole entire fucking life. And he was letting me know like he was kind of
like
casual.
a homebody.
And I was kind of
like a homebody.
Yeah. So anyway, so then we decided on the drinks. So then the drinks come. We had talked about COVID because he had his beliefs about it. Once again, we go back to the same thing. You're entitled to your beliefs, and so am I. You can't deny it. It's a real thing. I have known people who know people or in their family or whatever, they have died. And I'm not going to invalidate what they have to say because I think it's bullshit. So the drinks come, and without saying a word, he leans over, grabs my drink and drinks the drink. He starts to drink the drink. He's like, it's all right? I just stay looking at him. And we just had the COVID conversation. And
you think he
like,
did that on
just had
purpose?
this.
You think that was on purpose?
No, it wasn't. And then I said, no, by all means, if he would have, I tried to sabotage the date. I wanted him to be like, oh, I want to go home. Because I turned on the burners after that, like shortly after that, like being super obnoxious. And he goes, well, are you okay? It's me. And I'm like, and who are you? Like, this is our first date. You don't know me. So the food comes, we eat. And at that point, I feel like he's very like boundary bridging. You get me? Like, don't, here, those are your thoughts. That's your drink. Like everything is just like, like if you're Frogger and the log is just like going, and then like the log de arroya when you lose in Frogger, así. Like that you're waiting and you're like, and then the log is just like flying. This guy was just a big log. So now I said to myself, officially in my mind, this is over. And then I turned into like super smart ass obnoxious. And he had even said, he's like, because I told him my husband was a fireman, whatever. And he tells me, are you sure you're not a fireman? Because at that point, I was like, remember when we talked about our masculine and feminine energy?
Uh-huh.
That we're in our masculine energy because we're always doing, and we have a strong personality, and we're driven, and we're ambitious, and this and that. And when you're with a man, you have to, like let it go. So that what did I do? I did the opposite. I turned on that
full masculine.
I went like full the dial, like how fast he was going on the log, like that. That's how I went. I'm like, so I was thinking, great, I killed this date. He's never gonna call me again. Totally awesome. I was super like great, awesome. I had my food. We were done. In the conversation, I had said like, I was like, oh yeah, because I live around here. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't know because you didn't let me pick you up at your house.
Oh my gosh.
Pretended like I didn't hear that. I just want what I want. I have room for movement and I have patience. I ignored that. I was like, whatever. I ignored it. And then he walks me out to the car and I go to give him a kiss on the cheek. And then he goes, oh, you're going to give me a kiss on the cheek with COVID? That's when I was like, why do you have to fuck it up? But like that, like, I don't know, like I'm trying to save the dinner in there. I'm trying to have a good time. And then we come out, I'm being polite. And then you have to do some stupid shit like that. I'm like, I bye. And I get in my car and I leave. And that's it. When the date is over, the date is over. I'm going home to my kids, whatever. And the next day in the morning, he's texting me. He goes, look, I don't really even know how this date went, but I'd still like to see you again.
Wow.
And I would, yeah. That translates to me, I would still want to try to hit it. That's what that translates to me. See, that's my
Or maybe
masculine energy.
he likes he's hijo de maltrato. He's
When you take out the whip and you're practically like in their face, like that person needs to like a healthy person
That's
will
the
back
su
off.
lugar. Yeah.
yeah, they need
Exactly.
to they need to have dignity and put themselves in their place. But what they're showing is that they like to be mistreated and they get off of that.
Toxic.
Yeah, and
They're
then
toxic.
and then toxic, and then not only that, they're probably thinking that it's a challenge now.
Right, but this is not fucking Jenga, okay? We're old already. No estamos pa eso, okay? This is not that right now. And so I told them very nicely. I said, listen, you know, because like I said, I'm 45. He's gonna be fit. He was, I think, 49, something like that. I said, you know, I made you visibly uncomfortable. I went that it's not you, it's me, and I'm okay with that.
You for example are looking at the red flags, as to other girls don't see the red flags. They're just like,
Yeah, because imagínate, hasta cuándo? Like, I've
Until
seen
when?
red flags before that I've chosen to ignore. And those are the times where you play yourself. That you didn't get played. You played yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to play myself and I'm assessing the risks, well, you know, maybe I have my own level of toxicity, but I like to keep it low, below nuclear, you know, just a little bit. not some face-eating toxic shit, you know, like... You know, it's like, what color is that flag? Is it like a light pink, like a pregnancy test? Or is that shit on fucking fire? Or I need to fucking run, you know? Because the forest is on fire, you know? There's a difference. And you should be learning the differences. If you're repeating the same things and you're not evolving or whatever, I'm not going to say I've never gotten burned, but, you know, this segment is about dating now. And dating now is very different than dating before. And you could be tricking yourself, you know, again, you're playing yourself, which goes right back to a thought that you're not a victim in this because you effectively helped play yourself because you saw some shit and you didn't want to see it. So then don't go turn around and say that guy's an asshole. That guy's an asshole, but you knew that guy was an asshole and you went for it anyway. Ahora no te qué. You go for it or you don't go for it. I've been on since in the year, probably I have been on like 3 or 4 dates. 2 of the 4 dates, I find that the men were a little too fast. I don't know if what they think is that the girls want to hear that stuff, but like, you've been running through my mind all day. You've been running through my mind all day. You know, it's like, you don't even know me.
you're visualizing how you want it to be and controlling it, like how you want the date to be. Do you think that it's not more about that connection you have with the guy you meet? So maybe if you really but if you really had the connection and that guy says that, I've been thinking about your date, you will be loving it because you had that connection. No? I think, what do you think, Liz?
Well, I mean, I understand what she's saying. If you hardly know the person, I mean, the dates that I've been on, the recent dates that I've been on, they haven't said things like that. It's been a different type of guy. He's more like trying to get to know me as I'm trying to get to know him. You know, he doesn't say those type of things.
Yeah, we did that. I'm just talking like the whole texting thing.
Yeah. No, we didn't do a lot of texting. We just spoke a little bit on the phone, and then we made a plan to go on a date, and then we were getting to know each other on the date.
So I think here we have two extremes. You're getting guys that are too personal, and Liz is getting guys that are too unpersonal. So I think when Liz meets someone and you meet someone, you switch guys in the date.
Oh yeah, I don't like that too personal thing too quick. Like I talked to this guy for a week, and then we went out on the date, and then I am holding on to old fashioned standards. Like, we talked during the week. I don't mind that you text me in the morning. That I think that's something that society trains guys to think that women like. I don't like to be texted at 7 o'clock in the morning to tell you that I'm thinking about you. I have 2 kids. I would prefer like a 10 o'clock, maybe 12 o'clock. I know my friends were like, Iris, and I'm like, no, that I have to get back to that person. Sometimes I'm still sleeping or whatever, and thinking about you. It's 7 o'clock.
But you don't
in
have
the
to
middle
get
of the
back
day.
to
I got
them
like a
right
10
away. You can just get back to them whenever you want.
I do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I
That
do
doesn't
get back
matter.
to them whenever I want. But I personally think that, number one, there's not enough formality like there was before. And what that's what I mean by, and I'm gonna stick to that. Like, I like that. That's part of who I am. I like to go dress. I like to get dressed up. I like to go to nice places. I'm not gonna go to a bar. I'm not gonna dress casually. I like to look nice, do my hair, do my makeup, and wear a nice outfit. And I'm not gonna compromise on that. If that makes me old fashioned, bueno. I don't like for them to be on top of me, like that guy that drank from my drink with too much confianza. The other guy that was like texting like in the morning, at night, in the middle of the day. I think it needs to have like a nice pace, and then that I'm good with those things. And those are the two things that I've run into. I'm like, okay, slow down.
But I have a feeling that
the other thing is too casual.
But I think when you meet the person that you have this butterfly feeling that you really feel for, all that they're saying goes out the window.
I disagree, because that's not my,
because you can't control your feelings. So let's say you're feeling mutual. If you're feeling like that feeling, that butterflies, that drives you to, okay, whatever. You won't care because you really like the person. I think that's how it is.
Right away.
Huh?
I'm not gonna get. I don't get like butterflies right away. Like, how can you get butterflies right away? You don't even know them.
But I'm saying when it's the person that there's a certain, I don't know, because in my last 3 relationships that I've had in the past, it was right away. It was automatic, just like in the movies. We felt it, and I think that not everybody feels that, obviously, and sometimes you have to work more at it in order to find that connection. But I think I'm a little bit, it's hard for me. I think it was a curse for me to feel like that the last 3 relationships, because I look for that in relationships now, and now it's even harder as well.
Older, it's different. You don't feel like that, and like she says, you don't feel that. You feel that when you're in your 20s, when you're young.
That was the last time I
could tell you that recently, I there's someone that really does it for me in that way. But what I'm saying is that the person that's gonna do it for me in that way is gonna come with the formal date. It's gonna come with the space. Because if I don't have that, or I'll give, like, don't get me wrong, I don't have like this list of things that you have to go check off. There has to be room to move, just like I would like some room to move for me, where none of us are perfect. We don't know each other, that kind of thing. But I think in first dates, you're supposed to impress each other. You're honoring each other's presence. And I think you're supposed to look good and go to a nice place and enjoy the nice things, not just kind of like whatever, at a bar, or that's just me. And so the person that's gonna do those little butterfly things for me at its appropriate pace is gonna have provided that for me too. Mm-hmm. And the same way, like the calling or the texting, I like it. I am a busy person. I have teenagers, I have a job, and now I'm doing this entrepreneurial thing with the real estate. And I want to be texting, and I want to text, and I want attention, and I want to give attention, but I don't like the smothering. Okay. And I think morning, night, I think you have to, it's like a dance. You have to see what the other person is doing, and then kind of figure out, is this something that I can do too? Can I dance with this? I can't dance with you at 7:00 in the morning.
Do you feel that, do you think that maybe it's happening because of our age, and maybe a lot of people feel like they don't have time for the dance? They just want to, if they feel right with the person, let's get to know each other, and they just go with their feelings, and they just don't think about it.
No, I think there's something unhealthy about people who are rushing. I think a logical and an adult at our age. I mean, I'm going to be 45 in April. I don't think you should be rushing into anything. You don't know anybody in a week.
Well, that's true.
You don't know anybody in 3 months.
Oh, that's true. I mean, but I don't mean rushing. I mean just a simple text. Or do you think, or you're talking about that they constantly are texting you for everything?
What I mean, like that, like, okay, it's
12 o'clock, and they go, have you eaten?
It's 7:00. I got a 7:00 text in the morning.
Have you eaten?
Then I just wanted to tell you that I think that you're amazing, in case you don't know. Then you've been running through my mind. Then at night. Good night. I hope like if I didn't
You
respond,
didn't
if I
get you
didn't
didn't get you
respond,
didn't get the have you eaten?
no. And I'll find that if they do the have you eaten thing, like that's unless you know me or that you know the person, like you have built something together, I think that would be one of those instances where guys are just saying what they think a woman wants to hear. Oh my God, he wondered if I ate. I eat every 3 hours, small plates. every 3 hours, I'm eating. At 7 o'clock, I'm eating. At 10 o'clock, I'm eating. I'm not fat. So I think that that's something. I don't know. I don't know if I with the time I've gotten jaded. I don't like mocoso. I don't like los hombres pegajoso. I don't like.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, and it's not about nice guys or bad guys. It's about
No.
because a lot of people will say, "Oh, you like bad guys." It's not about that. I think it's about there has to be some sort of mystery to the person. I think at the beginning to make it exciting, and if you give it all away at once, I think it's just you ruin it because you're giving yourself all to that person right away so fast that person's like, like some might feel repulsed. It depends, and I think it all depends on the person. What do you think, Liz?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that are anxious, like she said, and they're needy people that need to have your attention all the time. And then there's people that they don't care if you have your attention or not, but you want a balance, between the two.
Okay, so
Right.
and
Like I'm not an avoidant.
Yeah.
I don't have an avoidant personality. But I don't like to be clingy. What I'm saying, like you take your cues from the other person, I think. Like and then you figure out, is this something that I can do? So if I tell you, I said, I'm really not up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry to have gotten back to you late. And then the next time he had texted me like at 10, I had lost track of time or whatever. But then that same day, we were talking and it was like one of these things like, oh, well, if we go to if this works out, we can go to I said something about the gym. And he's like, oh, we can go to the gym together. And I was like, oh, I really don't go to the gym with my boyfriends. That's kind of weird for me because that's like my time. And he's like, oh, but that would motivate me to work out. And I was like,
Oh, I've had that one before. Yeah, the whole working out together thing. I like to put my headphones on and just work out on my own to get the hell out of there. So I think I don't have time to be do this and talking in the gym. I mean, I really, and I think a lot of people, of course, they need a trainer. People need trainers. People need a buddy to go with and stuff like that. I've always trained myself to go alone and do it fast and get out of there. I don't need to be talking in the gym and spending all those hours.
right. For me, it's more about
depends.
But Liz does.
No, I don't have to. But I mean, I had a boyfriend that we used to go to the gym together. That's where I met him, at the gym, and we did CrossFit. So it wasn't like I was talking to him, but we would just do the workout. Yeah, we would do the workout together there, and then that's it. But it wasn't like.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would go with him, and sometimes I wouldn't go with him. It didn't matter.
I think it's about the person and the situation. Like yours it's a different situation. But when you first meet the person, like I had an ex that didn't want me to go to the gym alone. Like you can go alone to the gym. I'm like, and I, obviously I didn't listen. I went to the gym anyway. But it was a big.
But
thing.
that's like. But it's not like if I'm working on hardcore or anything like that. I just feel like that's a time that I use to like gather my thoughts. It's like a little meeting. Like I'm thinking, I'm in the treadmill or I'm doing the bicycle or I'm doing like girl workouts like abs. Okay, girl, forgive the audience. I mean, forgive me, audience, if I said something wrong when I say girl workout. But I mean, like, I'm not like.
Oh, you're gonna get canceled, Iris.
I know. Would it be the first time? But I wouldn't. I'm not trying to pump up and like get big biceps. And I know you work out your whole body. That's fine. But what I'm doing is I'm doing like my time away from the kids, my time away from,
It's a stress reliever.
Right. And I'm having like a meeting in my mind of what I'm going to do next or what I'm going to do tomorrow. And I really don't want anybody there like, oh, your form. Oh, let's do it like this. Oh, let's go do a squats. No, I don't want that. And they're free to say, well, it would be a good idea. You would motivate me to work out. If you need me to motivate to work out, that already tells me that you don't work out by yourself.
Exactly, and it says a lot about the person. I think, as far as it's a like a what is it? It's a seat to the future of that person. They're gonna want to.
Exactly. You know what? and this was the same person that wore a T-shirt to the date. And those little
He'll
things
probably want you to
together,
dress him up too and pick his clothes.
and that's where I'm like, no, like that's not happening, because we're 45 and I have 2 kids, and I have defects and you have defects, but I'm not taking that on. And so then after a week's time, I told him, I was like, I don't really think this is gonna. I made another excuse up. I'm not gonna say it, because if I say it, God forbid, I end up like whatever, somebody hears it or something, and they're gonna know exactly who it is, and I don't want to embarrass or say anything, because he was a very nice person, but I found him to be very clingy, and so I made up another lie. I don't ghost. Even though ghosting is not the worst thing that can happen, ghosting is actually pretty kind from a man. If a man does it to a woman, or a woman does it, I think it's a man is never gonna want to be the bad guy. He's not gonna tell you, whatever, it wasn't there or whatever. He's gonna fade out. I've faded out before, and it's not a bad thing, because people say, why wouldn't you just tell the person? Why would you tell the person? Are you gonna tell the person, you know what, I really didn't like your breath, and so I don't want to see you again, or I didn't really like this about you and I don't want to hang out? Or no, if they faded out, there's a reason. Because
There's
when
a
a man
sign.
wants to
That's
be
a
with
sign.
you, yeah, when a man wants to be with you, he'll be with you. But if I have a kind word in order to use on my exit, I do it, because I know it's very hard out there for men, as it is for women, but they have to put their face out there and face rejection. And you don't have to be a bitch when the others, you don't like whatever went on. You just tell them nicely, like, hey, for this reason, I don't really think it's gonna work out.
Got it. What do you say, Dr. Liz?
True. I think it's true. She's right.
In Dr. Liz's case, she's had both. She's had Are You Dead Down There? And she's had.
That guy sounds like that is the biggest douchebag ever. That's
my God,
that's
yes.
super douchey.
Yeah, you got to hear that episode.
And I'm curious, what was your response to that?
I don't even remember now what I said. I said something like, no, you just don't do it for me. I said something like that. And right after that, I broke up with him. Like,
Because the thing was that Liz was tired from work and
yeah, it was like a Friday. I was exhausted. I have 2 businesses that I run. I have a child too. And this person is retired, doesn't work, so he was ready, like, to have fun every day, like after work, after I got home from work. And I'm like, listen, I don't want to be always doing something when I get home from work,
Yeah.
Oh, but you weren't like in the act when he told you, are
No.
you dead down there? He just wanted to know if your vagina had a pulse, because you weren't wanting to do stuff.
No, and not with him.
And so then,
and I was already I was already like not like I was like just getting tired of him, like, because he was, like you said, very clingy, always on top of me, and it just turned me off.
Are you dead down there? No, not. And how long were you? That's not very tactful, but I mean, was it like jokey, like, are you dead down there?
No. No.
Or was it spiteful, like,
he was
are
like
you dead down there?
No, it wasn't spiteful. He was trying to be joking, but I don't find that funny. I don't think that's funny. So.
No, okay, you already didn't like it. Everything he said, te iba a caer como una
Yeah,
patada down there.
exactly.
And that was like the final straw.
Yeah.
No, now I'm dead down there. And you're not bringing it back to life. Bye.
I dated people that, like, they were very nice and everything, but, like, on the date, I noticed things like they keep talking about the ex or whatever.
Oof, you're gone. Bye. I leave.
Yeah. She keeps on getting these guys, a couple of times that all they talk about is their ex.
And then they tell me, oh, I just, they're like, oh, they don't feel it with me. And I'm like, well, because you're not over your ex. Like, one, I literally told him, you're not over your ex. And he ended up getting back with his ex. I go, you can go out with you can go out with 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and you're not gonna like any of them because you're still in love with your ex. And then he ended up getting back together with his ex.
Look at that.
Yeah, no. I had when after I dated my boyfriend, the 6-year relationship that I had after my husband had died, whatever, that I broke up, and then I was dating the other guy for a year. He's a fireman. I was his first relationship after his divorce, even though he had been divorced for like 2 years. And he was my first relationship. Imagine, I'm going in my mind trying to remember, like, whatever. So that I could see the times and what was different, whatever. And I think sometimes you might drag stuff from your past into what you're doing now. Like I saw that I had pinned. Yes, okay. I mean, I consider myself a person that I like to like self-reflect, and I like to, evolve, and I don't want to pin anything on anybody that they had nothing to do with it. And I did find myself kind of attributing to him one or two things that had nothing to do with him. And I suspect that he had done the same somewhat with me, because there was some things that had nothing to do with me. But when we were talking at the beginning, around the beginning, he would say stuff about his ex, and I cut him immediately. I said, your ex, I'm sick and tired of hearing about your ex. And because I'm nasty. I'm nasty about, because I feel like I'm not your therapist. I'm not here to be your therapist. Put in the work, pay the money, and you can have an opinion and you can discuss the subject when it's relevant. But I don't want to hear all your whining and bitching and complaining about your ex. Then
Especially
be
at
with
the
your ex.
beginning, when they're getting to know you. You want positive, fun, romantic. You don't want the baggage.
No, we ended up like squaring that away. And then, like I said, because maybe I was his first relationship off of that, and they sometimes like had arguments, but I cut that immediately. Like, I think on that date, on any date that you go on, they talk about their ex. I do like a one, maybe because my kid is in baseball, I do a 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. If I gotta talk to you about the same thing more than 3 times, like, I hear it the first time. We all make mistakes, whatever. Nobody's perfect. Bang. Maybe you do have some hurts, whatever. The second time, ya me está cayendo pesado. If that was an ongoing theme, I would have got up and left.
Yeah.
I would have been like, that's it, bye.
What do you think?
No, yeah, no. I only went out with him like 2 or 3 times, so I was like, I noticed.
And
that.
he was always talking about his ex 2 or 3
and
times.
how he missed her kids and all this stuff, and it had been a year since they broke up, and I'm like, well, I don't think you're over your ex. And then he ended up getting back with her because I stayed friends with him. He was a nice person. I had only gone out with him once or like 2 or 3 times, and he ended up.
And you stayed, and you stayed friends with him?
Not close friends, but like he lives by my office. Sometimes we have lunch. Sometimes I feel like he talks to me because I enlighten him in things. You know what I mean? Like,
again, free therapy. No, go
exactly. So, whatever. I haven't seen him in a long time, but the first couple of times I saw him after that, I knew that that's what it was. And then I've also had people that I've dated that don't want to get into a serious relationship. So I say, okay, fine. And I end up not, I start dating other people, and we'll be friends, like casual friends that will see each other every once in a while in groups or whatever. And then later they'll want to date me seriously, but I don't like them anymore. The feeling's gone.
If you want free relationship advice, Dr. Liz is available for dinner.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, I feel like we're just too busy. And I mean, I don't know how old are you, or is that okay to ask? Or
I'm 49.
Like, are you in your 40s like me?
49, yeah.
Oh, you look great.
Thank you.
And I personally don't have. Again, I consider myself pretty understanding and pretty warm and stuff like that. But maybe as I've gotten older, like there's certain behaviors that around this time is like, no. And I'm my I have my kids, I have my house, God knows you don't have enough time to drink water, go to the gym, maintain a social life, you have 2 businesses, this and that. And we're gonna go out to dinners where you could get free therapy. No, last time I checked, even therapy at a minimum is $80 an hour. Okay, and I have, if I'm gonna get used for $120 an hour to help you out when I have 6,000 things to do, it's what I'm saying. Like, you have to do the work. You have to do the work at home, and I do my work, and I work on myself, and I'm not perfect, and I allow for imperfections and all those things. But you know what? I don't allow. You're not gonna work off of me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna work off of me. And I'm not gonna, this isn't I'm 45. This isn't fixer upper time. Like, if you're not motivated to go to the gym by this time, then
yeah,
what can I tell you?
Yeah.
If you're not over your ex at this time, I got somewhere to go. I have an Orange Theory class that I need to attend.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
Anything. Anything is better than that. And surprisingly, I don't know if that's just the way the stars work. The less the less you are like that, like my friend, I have a friend of mine, she doesn't go out a lot. And then she's like, oh, how did you meet this person? And I was like, oh, I met him on, Facebook, or I met him through a mutual friend. Like, things just happen. But she's dying to be with someone or go on dates, and she doesn't get any dates.
Because
So
all she's
I,
thinking
I
is that she doesn't get any dates, and she's I believe in the law of attraction. She's just attracting that to herself, and maybe she's not social enough. Do you girls make a first move, or you always have to wait for the guy to make the first move? And
you want to go first, or
I don't think I've ever made a first move. No.
no,
I did once.
No.
no. But how about if let's say now with technology and Facebook, you've never sent an email hi?
No.
I have my views on first moves. Go ahead and
I don't know. I just never
Same.
have. Like, it's not that I'm against it. I just never have done it. And I'm not into the apps and all that. Like, I tried the apps and stuff, and for me, doesn't work for me.
Probably if you watch the Tinder, what is that Netflix? Have you seen it? The
Oh,
Tinder,
yeah.
No, I didn't.
The
No, I
Tinder
watched it.
swindler.
the Tinder swindler.
Swindler.
I heard he apparently has the freaking the cliff notes to the hieroglyphics or something. Because if he's getting chicks to give him,
Oh my God,
$200,000,
yeah.
Story's too much. You have to watch it,
I think he
Iris. You
might be
haven't seen
hiding.
it?
No, I think he might be hiding the secret of the pyramids in his taint. Because why else?
No, and the guy's good looking and everything.
No, he's not that good looking.
Well, he's
No.
Nobody's
not para-
$200,000.
Not for me to give him any money. Exactly.
well, this girl, it was so funny because her friends told her when she was on her way on a jet, all of a sudden met the guy for the first time. He goes, "Oh, you want to come?" Where was it? It was to
See,
on
for
a
the
jet
first time.
for the
You
first
see?
time on a jet with
Why
him.
would you go on a trip on the first time with
And
somebody
her
you don't
friends,
know?
her friends told her, "Are you sure? This is too good to be true, whatever." And she went on with the illusion. She went on the jet. She met.
And he's in love with me all of a sudden. Yeah. No.
No, she went wild. They all went wild with him.
Because that's what they
No,
want to
but-
hear. They want it so bad, like they'll believe anything, like just because they want it. They want that so much, like you have to be careful. Like, you don't know the person,
Or maybe they think like, why wouldn't he take me on a jet? I'm the shit. So part of you is even like your narcissism, like her very own narcissism took her down the wrong path, because she could have been either desperate or so into herself that she thought, well, why wouldn't he take me on a jet? Or why would, of course it's a dream come true. I deserve a dream come true. So I would think, once again, we're back to the conversation we had earlier about the magic is in the middle. If the person is like running over, like when I went on that date with the guy that drank my drink, when we're talking on the phone, I had said before, no, I can't make a date. I can't make this date because this weekend I have this. And then he was going away to Colorado, whatever. I went on a date with him because my friend said he's a really good guy and he has a really good job and his son was in baseball. And I found him a little bit echado pa'lante. So I thought maybe that's where the confianza came from, where he was a little bit like, I'm Cuban, so I do the Spanglish thing, like tenía tremenda velocidad, like, and I would tell him like, hey, slow down, or whatever. Or I would tell him like, I don't need 50 emojis. I'm like, you use a lot of emojis, like with like laughing and heart faces. And I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know, guys. I don't know too many guys like that.
Yes,
No. I can't have an emoji raper. No, I'm like, why do I need 50 emojis here for you to get across what you have to say? If you feel so strongly about it, you should call me. But anyway, he had
Emoji
told-
raper. I love that.
just like the hashtag rapers. I have a friend of mine, and it's like hashtag this, hashtag this dog, hashtag dog life, hashtag Frenchie, hashtag bulldog, hashtag. I'm like, this guy's a hashtag raper. Why don't you just write a paragraph and then like hashtag is meant so that you could be found. It's not that your whole entire paragraph has to have a hashtag before. So anyway, this guy, I had told him, no, I can't make it. I told my mom, I had said something about my mom. So then when we finally did our date, oh my God, if my kids hear me, but thankfully they're like 15 and 13. So they already like kind of get it and they know who I am. So then I had said, he goes, also when we were getting ready to go out, and he was like, so did you tell your mom about us going out this weekend? And I was like, no. And he was like, what do you mean you didn't tell your mom we're going out? I'm like, we're not a thing. And he's like, oh, well, excuse me. I'm like, I felt like I was, what's that the plane that goes really fast on a Concorde?
Well, my world, we kissed the first date.
in my world you can too, but I don't. Back to the first move situation. I was talking to someone and I had kissed him first, but that's because he was un muertecito, and I was like, if I don't at least get the ball rolling, this might not even take off the ground.
All right, so you don't make the first move, but you do make the first move if you feel the guy's too slow.
Yeah, no, I only did it once. I'm atrevida like that for certain things, but generally I have a rule that the man is the hunter, and if he likes you sufficiently, he'll go after you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing the work, you can expect to be doing the work the rest of your life in that relationship. And he probably doesn't like you as much because he didn't go after you. Mm-hmm. And you're in effect emasculating him as a man because he's not being able to exercise his masculine like prowess or whatever as the macho guy that all of these guys told to be, if the woman is doing everything, including making moves. Like I see these things on the internet, like of women proposing to men and oh, this is 2022. Like they're doing all of us a huge disservice. Mm-hmm. Like you're taking away what a man is, part of his essence, like what a man is supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be impressing you. Not because you're a queen, but because he's a gentleman.
He's supposed to plan the date. He's supposed to do that. You know, like the man is supposed to do all that stuff. Yeah.
And then you as a woman show interest. That's what I mean about the dance. Mm-hmm. But if you're out there hunting, I'm not saying you can't hunt as a woman. I'm saying you have to hunt differently within once you're already established. Then you can go after what you want in a different, you could be the initiator, this and that. But I have never, and I don't recommend the initiating it at the very at the very beginning of things. I think that's a setup. I think guys nowadays can be too comfortable. Mm-hmm. I think guys nowadays get emasculated because of aggressive women. And I'm not a wallflower. I like what I like within what I already have and what I have established. And I'm all like women power and this and that. But what are you going to leave the man to do? If on top of everything, you're making the first moves.
Exactly.
And he might not even like you, honestly, because
you have to be more in your feminine energy. Because we're in our masculine energy a lot of times when you do your business with your children, because you're a single mom, you have to be like the dad. You have to be in your masculine energy. But when you're dating, you have to be the feminine.
Turn it off.
Yeah, and let the man.
Gosh, it's so complicated in your world.
Yes, it is.
In my world it's all just it's too fast. It's like mutual. We meet, we know, and it goes fast.
Bang, it's over. No, it's
exactly. It's like dog years for us. Like we're in a relationship for years, like dog years.
Exactly. But because there's so much likeliness, you sift through all that. But men and women are different. That's what makes it complicated at times. Because if you're different, you each have something to. As a women have their virtues, and as a man, and men have their virtues. Like I've been dating and stuff like that, and I haven't always had we haven't always had wonderful experiences. But I've always said the same thing. Like I still love men, and I will never subscribe to the idea that men suck, that all men are the same. I don't think like that.
Yeah, what do you think about these feminists nowadays that are?
I think that's another setback. Not feminine, not to be, again, I'm all for girl power. I don't think women should be denied certain positions. I don't think any of those things, but I'm not anti-man. Mm-hmm. Like, don't hold the door for me. Don't do this for me. Don't do that for me. What is wrong?
Have you met people like that, Iris? Girls like that?
No, I really haven't.
Have you?
I actually make my son do that. I make my son be a gentleman. I feel like men should be a gentleman, that they don't teach men to be a gentleman anymore. I make him do that.
And that's what I told him.
Yeah.
I told my son the same thing. And that's one of the reasons why I also think that all men are not the same. I had my experience with my father. My father wasn't a good father. So I didn't have a good father figure, but my stepfather was amazing. And you have one breakup that sucks or whatever, but then you have someone else that steps in and is a great, a great substitute or bonus father or whatever. I'm raising a man and I think he's going to be a good man. So if I'm out there thinking that everybody sucks, that, then I'm going to attract suck. And I think things are hard because of the nature of the beast, because of the age, because of the criteria because of the age, not because of the age, but as you get older, you're looking for certain things, specific things. Maybe
you're
you don't want to.
you're not gonna take any crap.
No, and you also have the people that don't want a serious relationship. They just want to have fun, So you kind of, in the beginning, that's why you have to take your time and get to know if that person, what their values are. Do they want the same thing you want? Because that's how you get to know each other and decide if you want to keep dating or not. But
So-
Maybe they want to have kids.
So
maybe
you
they
don't. So
maybe
so
they
question. So if you go on your first date, you make it a rule not to sleep with the guy at the first date.
Yeah.
yeah.
And how about if it's a lot of good chemistry? It feels great. It feels good
Then
at the
you can
moment.
wait until I'm ready.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
If
it's
the-
just
Not in
it's
my
not,
world.
I mean, it's but it's what you just said a little earlier. It goes the same thing. Like if you're talking to someone and they're clingy and they open up all at once and they tell you,
It depends. I mean,
everything,
it depends on.
there's no more
If
exploring.
it's a
yet.
mutual clingy, it's different. But if it's
But
a,
here's
but if
something
there's
that doesn't happen in your world.
yeah, but I'm saying if it's a mutual connection in our world, obviously, because it's different because usually it's the girl holding the guy back. No, not now. It's the first date, this and that, and the guy's always the one trying to get into the pants. Imagine when you have two guys. There's none of that.
No.
Oh, way
Every
back.
guy's gonna try to get into your pants, but the question is, what is it that you want when you get into my pants? Is that you want a relationship with me, or you just want to get in my pants, or that's why
But there's people that do get in the pants in the first date, and they last.
No,
for,
that's not that's not my.
I mean, you don't go. I
my-
don't say that you go with the intention we're gonna sleep tonight in the first date, and you don't go. You never expect to. Obviously, I know you girls don't, but I'm saying if there is a moment, there's a good rhythm going the whole night in the date. It's very romantic. It feels right.
No.
No way.
No, and it's not because of this. It's because it's what you had said earlier. First of all, if you give yourself away de una vez, here's what happens. That is what I was getting at. That doesn't happen in your world. That absolutely happens in ours. You'll have people nowadays saying, "Oh yeah, women have needs too, and this and that, and blah blah blah." There's no judgment here, and that's a load of bullshit. Because there
Yeah.
is judgment. Because you're inclined to think, and you're not wrong, that if she banged me on the first date, she probably bangs everybody on the first date.
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth of the matter is that no guy that's gonna make you a serious relationship is gonna want to go somewhere where a bunch of people and you bang them all. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So I mean, or have kids, like, because the guys in their mind think, okay, so everybody hit this for free, and here I am wifing it up. So if you want to, by all means, you should be doing whatever you want to be doing. But I don't have any desire to sleep with anybody on the first date because I don't fucking know you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't care. Because if you can wait 90 days for insurance,
Yeah.
you can wait 90 days for us to hook up.
Got it.
Because I need to know that you're not a fucking psychopath, that you don't have a record in Lee County or some bullshit, that you're not going to be obsessed, or that you're not going to, have a crazy bad temper, or that you're not. There has to be a vetting process. If there's a vetting process for least shit, how can I not vet you to come into my body? Like, that's how I see it. Like, it has nothing to do. It's there's so much that you say with your body that you communicate to the other person, besides just, I think you're hot, when you sleep with them. And I might not want to. How do you know you want to open that door with that person? Because you're if you want to get all energy and stuff about it, forget about like religious or or stigmas or whatever. Let's talk energy. If you want to get all energy about it, I mean, it doesn't get any closer than when there's no space between you two. And if this person has bad energy, you know zero
Exactly.
about that bad energy.
That's
Because
true.
the
It comes
first-
into your life. You attract it.
Correct. You have officially, because we all know that a vagina is a portal to life because we give life through there. Okay, and so then now,
Vice versa.
exactly. Well, now you've gone through it. Well, because you know what it's like too. But what I'm saying is you've entered, like literally you're entering, you're letting someone enter your space where there's no space between you guys, and you don't know who the fuck this person is from a fucking hole in the wall. And now you've had that, now that energy's on you. If you want to be energetic about it, if you want to be religious about it, we all know the stigma that comes with that. If you want to be stereotypical about it, you have the horse stigma. If you just want to be a cautious woman about it, it just makes sense. It just makes sense because so that you know who you're going to be intimate with, who's going to be in your bed, this and that. In your world, it's different because both men have the same goal. In our world, we don't have the same goals. The goals change. A man's goal is to bang, and a woman's goal is to meet somebody. Then when they meet, they decide which direction it's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna do a podcast on my following podcast is about gay guys and dating, because it's really, really tough, and especially for those guys that want actually a real serious relationship and think kind of have the old fashioned ways.
Mentality.
I think it's gone. I think there's hardly no one has that.
Well, it's like
mind
that
think.
in our
Maybe
world
in our
too.
city.
Like I have a lot of male friends that tell me they've been divorced or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to have fun now. I don't want to be in a relationship." So, and that's because they're going through whatever happened. They're hurt. They, I guess, thought they were not gonna get divorced, and they got divorced. So I guess they don't want to go through that feeling again, and they just hook up with girls, and that's it.
And I'm sure there's girls that feel the same way as well.
Casual dating, they call it. My male friends, casual dating.
I'm sure there's girls that feel the same way as well, right?
Yeah. I know I don't want anything. Él en su casa, yo en la mía, and I don't want to have atender the thing. It depends what your goals are, and it just seems like. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think what's meant to be is gonna be meant to be. You set your standards, and you wait. And never one extreme or the other. And because I'm not gonna change because now there's everybody. We're living a new world, and the women make the moves, and it's okay to have 50 partners. Eso no. I've heard this before. Eso no es jabón y no se gasta.
That's not soap.
And I'm like,
does it go to waste?
Yeah, it's not soap. And you know how the soap gets really tiny? It gets small from using it. And I'm like, I don't give a shit if it's jamon, if it's jamon or not. It's definitely not jamon, that's for sure. You're not gonna get jamon all of a sudden, and without any kind of work involved. And now whatever, if that makes me old fashioned or what, I don't really give a shit. Yeah. I'm sticking to that. I know we're not gonna be friends. If I want to be friends, like the whole friends with benefits, no, maybe you're not that beneficial.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe I don't, whatever.
But you girls don't have friends with benefits?
I have one available to me, and I'm not really. You know how when you don't use your points on the card. Like, I'm not really using the points on the card because of I don't want to tie up. I don't want to tie up because if someone is parked in my garage, the right car cannot park there. Yeah. Because my energy and my life is being taken up and my time by someone who's just wasting it.
Exactly. You have to be true to what you want to yourself, because if not, you're never going to attract what you really want.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So what would be tips? Let's say the guy is out there that's gonna date you girls next. What would be 3 things they should not do on the first date? Iris?
Do not drink from my drink. That's for sure.
Don't talk about your ex.
That's right. Don't talk about your ex. Do not drink from the person's drink. What else?
Dress up. I'm sorry. I think that is key. It says you respect yourself, and it says you honor the other person's presence. You should be dressing up, period. You want to go out and look nice.
So like a tie and a suit?
No. Well, Jesus Christ, I just talked about no extremes. I'm not saying like a freaking tuxedo. We're gonna go to a ball gown and go dance in Vizcaya or anything.
It
like that.
depends what the first
Saying.
date is, because remember, the man is planning the date, so wherever he decides to take you is how he has to. I remember in college, my boyfriend in college, the first time he asked me out was to the opera. So you have to dress up to go to the opera,
Ooh, he was fancy. That's different.
Like, I want to go on a first date with somebody that I can talk to them and get to know them and hear what they're saying. Not a bar for me is like when you go out with your friends and when you go to pick up, and that's not really like, I don't know.
A first date.
Yeah, I don't want to do that really.
So don't dress up. Don't what is it? Don't drink from the person's drink. Don't get too clingy.
Yeah, don't bridge boundaries. Like, don't go too fast.
And don't go to a bar.
Yeah, I think if you want to go on a first date with somebody, it should be somewhere where you guys can talk and get to know each other better. It doesn't have to be an expensive date. Like I said, it could be a coffee or whatever. But
Okay, worst place they can take you on a date besides a bar.
I mean,
a strip club. I've known people that go to strip clubs and I'm like, on a first date,
Somebody asked you to go to a strip
No,
club
not
on
me.
first date?
I know somebody that went to a strip club on the first date.
Oh, and they agreed on that, or he just
Yes.
surprised her?
No, it was the
Huh?
girls. It was the girls' suggestion to go there, which I thought was absurd.
Oh, but see, that's what I mean. So she might be like baiting him, like he's like woohoo, or she might really be about that life. Like he's probably like, yeah, it's gonna be a wild night. It's gonna be a wild night, and she's like, yeah, because I'm gonna see my girlfriend on your dime. Who knows? But that's not That's definitely not the usual. I mean,
that is
where would
not,
it be?
But I had something I've heard. And both
Where
of
would
the
it be?
people.
I'm trying to
Two?
think.
Oh
Where
my
would
God.
be a shitty, like a shitty first date? I wouldn't want to go race car driving, like those little go karts.
How about bowling?
No.
No.
No,
The fair.
only if there's elephant ears involved. Is there fair food? Are we talking about fair food? Are we just gonna go in and leave? How many of those little booklets of tickets are you gonna spend?
How about
We can really spend paper
That
there.
reminds me of Karate Kid. I just saw Karate Kid with my son this weekend, and the guy takes her to this little fair with a little putt-putt or whatever.
Oh, that's another place that I think sucks on a first date, the movies.
Oh, yes.
Kill me now.
what would be the best place they can take you on the first date?
The best place. I don't know. I still think you have to do that, getting to know each other. I really can't think of like I'm not gonna do that crazy skydiving shit again. I'm an earth sign.
Oh, you
Like,
did that
no.
once? Okay.
Huh?
You did that once on a first date?
No, but I'm saying like guys are like sometimes challenged to find like this guy that was a clingy guy that was in law enforcement. He was like, oh, have you ever been shooting before? Like we can go to the range. And I was like, he was trying to be creative, and I get it because they're trying to make it an impression. See, he tried there, but I was like, I'm scared of guns. I don't know you. It's like too much anxiety. So it was a good idea, but I told him, I'm like, it's a great idea, but like imagine a weapon. I've never touched a weapon in my life, and then I don't know the guy, and then it's like. To me, it wasn't a terrible idea, but like maybe for a woman who really likes guns, that might be cool. Not for me. I'm okay with dinner.
Liz likes guns.
I got my license recently, and I've only been shooting once, but it was very like exhilarating actually. I liked it. Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not, but I did like it.
Okay. All
See,
right.
but that's what I mean. Like for a woman who already has a gun or who's just got into that would be a cool first date. And what I'm saying is that guys, sometimes they're forced with the task of trying to come up with a creative place, which now as we ask the question, what would be the best place? We're like, so imagine these guys planning, I guess. But like for me, the gun range was like, it wasn't a bad idea. It was just like something that was different, but that I couldn't find like not for me. That's like for a gun person. Like you just
For
got yours. I
me-
would have been like, woohoo, I'm
For
in.
me, I would enjoy like you know, of course, dinner, that's like the basic, but I would enjoy like going to a Heat game or a concert, you know.
Oh yeah, I like baseball. I would like a baseball game because you can actually talk because it's
Yeah.
slow pace.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't think that I would like a football game. It's a little too aggro. And don't give me none of that balloon ride bullshit. Oh, I want to go on a balloon ride. So whatever from 50 Shades of Grey, taking me on this private jet. You know, I don't have any obligations. I don't have any commitments. I don't have anything. I'm just here to get to know you, and you're just here to get to know me. And hopefully we're presenting our most authentic selves, and that comes together. And that's it. And that's what I'm going for. So I look for those things of the guys doing what he thinks you want.
And you listen to
hear.
your intuition.
I do. That's another thing. That's a good point that you bring up, because you should be listening to those to that intuition, because that's, if anything comes out of your as we get older, there should be some kind of wisdom, or some kind of evolving, where you're not trying to be better, but just by nature, just by the time passing, you're a different person every day. But you're going to definitely be a different person when you're 20s than when you're 40s. You're going to see men different than when you're 20s than when you're 40s. If you keep making the same mistakes, or you keep going by everybody else's, the things that happen to them or whatever, then
You haven't evolved.
you're right.
You haven't evolved.
You're gonna stay stuck.
Well, with that, that's the perfect way to end being your authentic self and listening to your intuition in this dating life. Thank you both for being on the pod. And one more thing.
Don't
Fall off the pod.
Hey Podheads, if you have not done so, you can download our very own app. It's available at all app stores. And there's no excuse for missing out on the pod, because the pod is available wherever you can listen to a podcast.
Ready.